What is up, full-time family? It's time for full-time MMA in the morning. Low-key, I wanted to start this an hour ago, but my alarm clock got unplugged and the time wasn't set. Another topic for another day, but either way, we're here now, and we got a lot of news, a lot of big potential fights on the horizon. One fight is set. Two of these fights are possible. Now, one of the ones that is possible is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Robbie Lawler. I think that would be a good fight, and that was a fight we could have been looking at potentially when Robbie Lawler was the champion. If you recall, whenever Robbie Lawler fought Tyron Woodley, Stephen Thompson was the #1 contender, and he was looking at fighting the winner of that fight. That just happened to be Tyron Woodley. But if Robbie Lawler would have beat Tyron Woodley that night, we could have been seeing this fight back in the past for the belt. So this is a former UFC welterweight champion versus former UFC welterweight title challenger, potentially Robbie Lawler versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Both of these guys are ranked in the top 5 of the welterweight division still, and I think this would be a good fight for both of these guys. Robbie Lawler is coming off of that W, if I'm not mistaken, over Jorge Masvidal, or not Jorge Masvidal, Donald Cowboy Cerrone. Since then, I don't know if he's been back in the octagon, but I think this is a fight that the fans have wanted to see for a while. It would be interesting to see how Robbie Lawler fought against a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You know, Robbie Lawler, he's one of the more well-rounded welterweights, but he's also, known to get into some brawls sometimes, but that's not really going to work against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You're going to kind of have to play chess in there, but it would. I think Robbie Lawler would be a guy that might say, fuck it, balls to the wall, and we might actually get to see a good fight out of this, a really good fight. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, though, is coming off of that really close loss to Darren Till. And that was a potential fight we could have saw a rematch of just to get clarity, but I don't know if that's necessary, and I don't even really know if the fans really want to see that right now, just for clarity, because who knows how the fight would go, But Darren Till versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was a fight, a rematch that was kind of a potential just because the controversy of the first fight. Darren Till missed weight, of course. It was in Liverpool. A lot of people felt like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson won that fight. But, I mean, with that being said, if Wonderboy fought Robbie Lawler, I think that would be I know it would be a fresh matchup, but also, I mean, it would be a good fight for both of these guys because, you're not losing too much. Last fight, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson risked it. He fought the #7 ranked guy. Didn't go his way. Really close. This time he would be fighting, I think, Robbie Lawler. We can pull up the rankings. That's usually good to have up for these chats. But Robbie Lawler, I think he's still ranked like #3. So, I mean, this could potentially be Stephen Wonderboy Thompson working his way back to a title shot. I mean, and we've got the title picture kind of figured out for the welterweight division. Let's pull it up. We've got Tyron Woodley versus Stephen as far as the next title fight. Tyron Woodley versus Colby Covington, very likely next. That fight's going to be crazy. But after that, there's no more interim champions. There's no real #1 contender unless you put Darren Till up there. Rafael Dos Anjos just lost. Ooh, maybe we could see Darren Till versus Rafael Dos Anjos or something. But yeah, so Robbie Lawler's ranked #5, Wonderboy ranked #3. That's a pretty high ranking, for losing to the #7 guy. But still, he's one of the best fighters in the world. He proved that. But with that being said, yeah, man, Robbie Lawler versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I'm definitely into that fight. And it's not, official or anything yet. It's just something that Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has his eye on. This is what Wonderboy had to say. I want someone in the top 5. I got bumped down to #3 in the rankings. You got Robbie Lawler. Hopefully, maybe things will go right because I know he had knee surgery a few months back. So that's probably why Robbie Lawler's been out. He's had knee surgery a few months back. So hopefully things will go just right and the timings work out so we could face each other or something. Thompson then elaborated on the appeal of a fight with Lawler. He says, I got fans all the time asking me, don't you fight Robbie Lawler? I think I got a lot of respect for him, and it would be a barn burner. He just stands there and wants to bang it out. I love fighting guys like that without getting hit in the knee, of course. Talking about that's unfortunate for Wonderboy Thompson. If he fights a douche, well, not even just a straight douchebag. If he fights a killer, if he fights somebody that's hungry, that's trying to get to that title, that's, just something. And usually you're probably an asshole you know, it's probably looked at as a dirty move. For one, if you're targeting someone's knee. For two, it makes it even worse if you're targeting somebody's knee that's already, you know, kind of been damaged before, you know. So, and that's what Wonderboy, he did say that about Darren Till. He felt like he was kind of targeting his knee in that fight. And so that's unfortunate. And Wonderboy, he's definitely not going to be the guy, you know, because Robbie Lawler's coming off of a knee surgery, shoot. So I don't think either one of these guys, just out of respect for each other's knees, are going to be targeting knees. I think it would just be a great fight. So yeah, that's a good fight. We'll see if Robbie Lawler reacts, responds, or, you know, timetable on Robbie Lawler's return sometime soon. But other than that, we had Greg Hardy. Some of you guys know, I think we'll be able to show the actual knockout on this thing, just because, you know, the sound's distorted, so it's not really going to pick up that well. But still, you know, we're going to get to see it. But Greg Hardy, former NFL player, Dallas Cowboy, Carolina Panther, a little bit of a checkered past, came through Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series last night. 53-second knockout. Holy smokes, let's run this real quick. I mean, the fight was so quick you can actually see it.
American top team, they have good things to say about the potential. Yeah, I tell you, Hardy is very swinging hard, part of the punch. Whoa! Hardy, nice hit! Wow, Greg Hardy. American top team, they have good things to say about the potential. Yeah, I tell you, Hardy is very swinging hard, part of the punch.
Hardy is swinging hard.
Wow, Greg Hardy.
Yo, Michael Bisping on the commentary. That brings me to something I wanted to play in the beginning, but I might play it at the end or something. But for my boy MMA Vlogger, Real Talk Forum, what up, Stamina MC in the building, Arpit in the building, what up, giving sure name forward, Dink and CF at R Sports. But that's that brought that up. That reminded me that it looks like hashtag Fire Snoop was in effect last night at Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. There was no option for the Snoop cast with Uriah Faber. You know, they were sipping the gin and juice. There was no option for that last night. It looks like Snoop's contract was not renewed for the second season of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Didn't go over too well, you know, especially even after the Mayweather-Conor McGregor thing. Snoop Dogg was definitely getting on the bad side of MMA fans. Well, with that being said, Paul Felder was actually on the call last year as well at Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Now we had Michael Bisping. He did a good job last night, man. You know, he knows this sport. He was a pretty good commentator there, and you heard it right there. He said he's hitting pretty hard, or Hardy's hitting pretty hard. Pardon the pun. What PK Vid said, what's up, no, what's up, brother Mad Picking. Snoop Dogg got deleted, said Israel A. Definitely got deleted from the Snoop cast. They should have called that like the Bisping cast or something. No, it was just the normal cast with Bisping. I don't even know if they had any other options, like, you know, fun commentary roles, but Snoop Dogg was not in attendance. And then there was a dude last night, he fought, his name was Sean Lally. I was like, oh, hell no. We got another Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series fighter whose name is way too close to Sean O'Malley. They got a Sean Lally. Like, come on, dog. I was like, yeah, I hope you don't, like, I don't know, man. It would have been crazy when I was saying, I hope you don't, like, get knocked out like it's a sign of things to come. I don't know what. I was just watching that fight thinking about, yeah, but also, speaking of Sean O'Malley, during Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series last night, some of you guys might not know who Ninja is. He's this fucking super popular, like, Fortnite streamer, got to the top of the game. There's like a $3 million tournament, and Sean O'Malley, Demetrius Johnson, Tyron Woodley, I think, was there. All of the, you know, you've seen a lot of fighters yesterday talking about E3 and stuff. I mean, hella fighters. Stipe Miocic has been talking about Fortnite lately, but huge tournament yesterday, and Sean O'Malley happened on the eve of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, fucked around and got a W. He got a win over that Ninja dude, which was fucking super crazy yesterday during Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Just a side note. But with that being said, this is I just stumbled upon this right before I started the stream, and this is a fight that this is a title eliminator in my eyes. I mean, if you look at the UFC rankings, the heavyweight rankings, Curtis Blades versus Alexander Volkov is being looked at for UFC Moscow. This fight right here, holy smokes, that is for sure. The winner of this fight in my eyes, is guaranteed a title shot. This isn't an interim title fight, clearly, because there's no time link to champions out. But this is a #1 contender fight. And this is a fight, I'm calling it right now. I mean, no one's probably going to remember, but I'm calling it right now. We're going to see this fight multiple times. This Alexander Volkov versus Curtis Blades, this isn't going to be a one and done. Both of these guys are the futures of the heavyweight division. I mean, when you look at everybody else at the top of the heavyweight division, they're over 30, probably even over 35. But both Curtis Blades and Alexander Volkov are only like 28 years old. Curtis Blades is like 25 or 20. Oh, he's 27. So Curtis Blades is 10-1. He's coming off wins over Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt, legends of the sport. Very talented wrestler in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? So he got wins over Alexei Olenek, who we know about his submission skills. I mean, Curtis Blades is definitely one of the staples of the heavyweight division for years to come. I think he's a former UFC champion. Or not former, I think he's a future UFC champion, to be honest. Alexander Volkov is one guy that might have something to say about that, and he could also hold the belt. I think he will too. I don't know who's going to hold it first. Maybe one of them might not be able to unless they rematch for the title, but I really think these guys are the future. Check out Alexander Volkov. He's super experienced, only 29 years old with fucking 35 fights? 35 fights. He just got a win over Fabricio Verdun. He's had wins over Stephen Struve, Roy Nelson, Timothy Johnson. He's had tough fights in his UFC career. You know what I'm saying? He's just came off a win over one of the arguable greatest heavyweights of all time, Fabricio Verdun. I mean, asterisk, depending on what happens with this USADA case. But either way, man, Alexander Volkov is still very young, very experienced. And when you talk about who's next for fighting for the title, you got Francis Ngannou up here. He just fought Stipe. I don't think anyone's dying to see him fight for the title next. He's actually got a fight with Derek Lewis coming up. We'll see what happens in that fight. But even with a win there, he might need one more win before a title fight. So you look at Junior Dos Santos. He's fighting Blagoy Ivanov, I believe. He's an unranked fighter, but they're headlining UFC Boise. So I don't think he's going to get a title shot off of fighting, an unranked fighter. And in the top 5, you've got Curtis Blades and Alexander Volkov. Overeem, he just took the loss to Blades. Once the rankings are updated, he'll probably jump up to #2. So you've got the #2 and #3 ranked fighters, fresh title fights, both young, up-and-coming, fighters that could potentially be fighting for the title. Stipe Miocic is the champion. Everyone's going to have a hard time with Stipe. I don't know if any of these guys can beat Stipe Miocic, but maybe in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? I would still like to see Stipe versus Curtis Blades. I think Curtis Blades is wrestling. I mean, I know Stipe's got strong wrestling as well, very strong. He's very well-rounded, one of the greatest, if not the greatest heavyweight of all time. But Curtis Blades, man, I know he's going to have something to say about that in the near future. And maybe it'll take a year, maybe it'll take 2, but Blades versus Volkov is a fight I am all the way into, and the winner of that will likely be fighting for the title. MMA Addict in the building says, "Sup, brother? Did you see T. Woodley calling racism against people with glasses?" Whoa, you gotta chill. Boy, you need links for things like this. We all need to see this. I did not see this yet. No, I didn't. Let's be real. If Blades talked that shit like Kobe, he would have gotten the title shot straight away. That's true, but that's definitely not his game. If you've listened to any Curtis Blades interviews, like, he's not going to be a trash talker, right? He's going to be going in there and just grinding out W's. And it's not even on a respectful thing. I just, maybe if he had some super hot script, to go off of, and even then it might be a challenge a little bit. Curtis Blades just comes off as a nice guy. Like, he doesn't even come off like trash talking would be so far from him. But hey, man, maybe he could fake it. I don't know. I think it'd be way harder for him to fake trash talking than even like a Kobe Covington, if you think Kobe's faking it. Let's see. Him said Curtis versus Alex is a tough call to make. I think so too, man. And it would be in UFC Moscow. So whatever that means, Volkov would for sure have the home crowd advantage. But this is my thing. Has he ever fought a fucking wrestler like Blades? If not, then it's going to be hard for me to pick. Striking, jiu-jitsu, he could potentially submit him. But he fought Fabricio Verdun, Stephen Struve, Roy Nelson, Timothy Johnson. Yeah, none of those guys are the wrestlers Blades is, but he's still a very talented fighter, and he's like 6'7", you know what I'm saying? So he's going to present his own challenges to Curtis Blades. It'd still be a great fight, and Curtis Blades would have to be able to find out a way to get a takedown. But I think he might be able to in there. But still, that's going to be a great fight. Volkov could potentially finish the fight. Did he finish Fabricio 4th round KO TKO? 3rd round KO TKO. He's not coming out here and just blowing no one up in the 1st round, but he'll definitely have the striking advantage in the fight. Potentially the jiu-jitsu. Potentially. I mean, Curtis Blades was able to finish Alexei Olenek without being submitted, and Alexei Olenek has like 44 submissions in his career. So, yeah, that's going to be a great fight if it actually does come to fruition. CFR Sports said Yoel won the fight robbery. In order to be the champ, you have to beat the champion. Whoo! All right, so we just talked a little bit about Curtis Blades versus Alexander Volkov. We saw the Greg Hardy KO. He came in, he fucking got a 53-second KO and earned the UFC contract. It was crazy because in the main event, dude must have knew he had to put on a hell of a performance in Alonzo Menifield, because I was thinking, oh, ain't no fight gonna top that tonight. No fight's gonna top this tonight. As far as it's Greg Hardy, he got a 53-second KO. He's getting a contract. And then in the main event, Alonzo Menifield comes out. Alonzo Menifield came out in the main event of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series last night and got an 8-second KO TKO, which was the fastest in Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series history. So it's like, oh, he's got to get a contract too. But, like, you know, Dana White does sometimes give out 2 contracts. So that was a great performance in the main event. If he didn't have that 8-second KO, that night might have went just to Greg Hardy. But that 8-second KO was, you know, nothing to scoff at. That shit was spectacular. This fight is looking like it is set. This is on MMA Import. So, okay, speaking on the final edition of the MMA Hour, Iaquinta revealed that he is now locked to fight Justin Gaethje in the highly anticipated fight card. UFC Fight Night 135 will take place August 25th. So that's going to main event UFC Lincoln, Nebraska. Iaquinta versus Gaethje. Yo, full-time family. That's in the Midwest, man. I might have had to fuck around and go to that joint. Y'all trying to have like a full-time family UFC Lincoln, motherfucker. Iaquinta versus Gaethje. I don't know. I ain't even ever been to Lincoln or nothing like that, but that just sounds fun, and it sounds pretty close, which sounds pretty affordable. I don't know. We might have to go to that shit live. Full-time family slugfest between Justin Gaethje and Iaquinta set for UFC Lincoln. Holy smokes, it's official. And that's interesting. You know, we had Dana White and I believe even Justin Gaethje saying that Iaquinta was out of the fight. I believe Dana White said he's 100% out of that fight. And now, and Iaquinta, whenever the fight was announced by, I believe, who was the fight announced by? Brett Okamoto, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody called fake news. It might have been Iaquinta that put hashtag fake news. It was Gaethje or Iaquinta. They put hashtag fake news talking about the report that the fight was set. And then trying to find out everybody's wrong. The fight is here. But like I said, that could have been Dana White, you know, putting pressure on Iaquinta. Like, yo, we will move on if you don't want to. He was saying, like, Iaquinta feels like he needs to be paid for, you know, fighting a higher ranked opponent. And so that's when he said he was out of the fight. That could have been a move, like a chess move to put pressure on Iaquinta. Like, all right, dog, we will move on. The fans want to see Justin Gaethje in a banger. I mean, it don't necessarily have to be Iaquinta versus Gaethje. Gaethje brings, you know, he's a human highlight reel. He brings what the people want to see. So this is an opportunity for you, homeboy. You might not want to pass up on it, but you know what I'm saying? So looks like Iaquinta got in motion, got the fight signed. I don't know, maybe he got what he asked for. Who knows? I'm sure we'll hear in the future. This was Stephen Thompson talking about fighting Robbie Lawler. We touched on that a little bit earlier. Khabib Nurmagomedov feels there's only one man who can beat Curtis Blades. Let's see what Khabib has to say. I think Curtis Blades can become UFC champion. He said he's very good wrestling. He's young. He's strong. He's hungry. He has different motivation. I think he's the new blood in the UFC's heavyweight division. Well, who's been telling y'all that, full-time family? Motherfucking who has been telling y'all that? Just let me know. I said keep your eye on Blades. Don't think he's a boring. He's the motherfucking future heavyweight champion. That's all I'm saying. But Khabib continued. He said, I think only one guy can beat him. I think Daniel Cormier. What? What? I thought he was going to say like Stipe or maybe even a Volkov. Whoa, Khabib ain't fucking around with DC's wrestling skills. This is my head. Clearly, my head is worse than Khabib's when it comes to wrestling, clearly. So fuck what I'm saying, but I'm just going to say it. You're talking about Curtis Blades, he's a fucking heavyweight, young stud wrestler. That's fucking wrestling. With Stipe, we're looking at Stipe like maybe his wrestling ain't up there with DC's. Maybe that's how DC can possibly edge it out. If DC's got a chance, it's going to be his wrestling. But motherfucking, if he's got the wrestling to take on Curtis Blades, Stipe better duck his motherfucking taco. Holy smokes. This is what Khabib had to say. I think only one guy can beat him. I think Daniel Cormier, he can beat him. Other guys, even Stipe Miocic. I think Stipe, he's a bad matchup because he pressures all the time and he has very good wrestling. Interesting. He said, but we'll see. He's the new blood. We have to wait after July 7th. I think he deserves a title shot more than everybody. Yo, Khabib speaking out for Curtis Blades. That's dope to see. That's dope to see. And does he deserve a title shot? I mean, yeah, he is on like a 4-fight winning streak over 3 very impressive names. Low-key, Curtis Blades could get a title shot now. But if not, we could have a #1 contenders match between him and Alexander Volkov, because Alexander Volkov is 4-0 in the UFC, just came off of a win, a finish performance of the night over Fabricio Verdun, who could have been on that gorilla piss, if you know what I'm saying. And, you know, after the fight, at least, he's flagged by USADA for now. And then you got Stefan Struve. But when you look at Curtis Blades' resume right now, Curtis Blades' resume is Mark Hunt, Alistair Overeem, Alexei Olenek, and he's going to probably jump Volkov in the rankings when they're updated with that win over Overeem. So, yeah, man, and he's fought Ngannou in the past. That's his only loss in the UFC. It was doctor stoppage. He took Ngannou down twice. He had to have been real close to winning that fight. I want to go back and watch that. He had to have been close to winning that fight if he got Ngannou down twice. He had to have been working on that wrestling. You know, I don't know how much energy Ngannou had left after staving off 2 takedowns, and it was round 2. Ooh, if the doctor wouldn't have stopped that fight, man, Ngannou, I have to go back and watch it because I wonder what Ngannou's gas tank was looking like when the doctor stopped the fight, in the sense of we saw how he looked versus Stipe Miocic, right? And that's fucking Ngannou 5.0 versus Stipe Miocic. That was the fucking UFC Performance Institute savage motherfucking already knocking out Overeem, boom, 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 beat all these dudes. And that Ngannou kind of got tired into the second round. So you have to wonder with the, you know, how, and it was Curtis Blades' first fight in the UFC, but he still scored 2 takedowns in that fight. You have to wonder if how close he was to getting to Ngannou's breaking point. You know what I'm saying? If the doctor stopped the fight, he probably took, you know, some significant damage, maybe to one of his eyes or something. I have to go back and watch that fight for sure. But that fight right there is his only loss in his career. And he's got wins over Olenek, Hunt, and Overeem. He could for sure be getting a title shot next, depending on what happens July 7th. And depending on if not, he gets booked against Alexander Volkov at UFC Moscow. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, that's Khabib with the big cosign for Curtis Blades. Khabib, let's fucking go. Israel, they said Curtis Blades needs a fatal blade. Metamorphosis, talking to Israel. What's full-time Yadong MMA? Yadong. All right, man, we got to pull up the fight card. We got to pull up the fight card. Everybody needs to know what's going on with Yadong. Pause. All right, UFC. The next UFC event that's not a contender series is going to be Cerrone Edwards versus Leon Edwards, UFC Singapore. That's the main event. But I believe on the prelims, yeah, we got Felipe Arantes versus Yadong. And we were just looking at that first, you know, our first look at the card, and jokes just started fucking flying with Song Yadong's name and talking about Arantes might beat Yadong, and it started sounding really awkward and stuff like that, brother. So that's the inside joke. Like, Yadong is fucking, I'm sure it's going to come back up because this fight card isn't like for 3 weeks. What? It's like 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. Yeah, I think 2 weeks away. But yeah, so we'll see if Arantes can beat Yadong. Pause. I don't know. We got to find what episode that was. That was classic. But yeah, man. That's a big cosign from Habib though for Curtis Blades. Let's go. What we got next? Oh shit! This was the time that George St. Pierre was almost charged by Darren Till in the jungle. Check this out. This was the closest. This was almost a super fight in the jungle. We almost saw GSP versus Darren Till. This was right moments after Darren Till charged GSP in the jungle, and this is what GSP had to say. This video was taken in Africa seconds after Darren Till charged me. I had to take a submissive posture and get out of his way. One of the most frightening and incredible experiences of my life. Even with the right training in the world, I wouldn't have been a match. Something to be said about the gorilla Darren Till, man. Let's check this video out. Oh, there's Till. There's Till. There's Till. You guys see him? You guys see him? Rewind it a little bit. There's Darren Till in the flesh. You guys fucking see Darren? I see Darren. That's fucking Darren right there. Whew. And little Darren. Yeah, you don't fuck with Darren when he's with his family in his natural fucking habitat. You gotta be careful. It don't matter who you are. You could be Francis Ngannou, GSP. You can be the motherfucking Avengers of the UFC. You meet Darren Till in his natural habitat. Good luck. Good luck, brother. All right, let's see what's next. We got Claudia Gaethje responding to Carla Esparza's greasing accusations, right? As I see the 22 game talking about GSP greased and slipped away, quick jabbed his way to safety, said the 22 game. Oh, snaps. What? Right on time for Claudia Gaethje responding to Carla. She's saying this is excuses. And honestly, I got to go with Claudia Gaethje here, man, because it's one thing. And someone says, I did see someone in the family say, if you go back and watch the fight, man, even before the fighters were sweaty, they're saying that the Colby Covington and Carla Esparza were slipping off of RDA and Claudia in the first round, which would give credence to these damn greasing accusations after UFC 225. You know, normally you don't get really slippery until second, third round when you're sweaty. But if you go back and watch the fights, and now this isn't my word, but someone did come in the comments and say, hey, man, they're not lying. I went back and watched the fights, and in the first round, they were slipping off of them. And now, just to catch you up to speed, if you didn't know, Claudia Gaethje and Rafael Dos Anjos were both accused of greasing at UFC 225, but it was after the fights. It wasn't during the fight. Both of their opponents came out after the fights and said, hey, I think they were greasing, or, you know, not together, but Carla was like, I think Claudia was greasing. And then separately, Colby Covington said, yeah, I think RDA was greasing. So that just happened to be a coincidence, something coming out of UFC 225. But it's one thing when you say it to the referee during the fight, and there's a difference when you come out after you lose. But see, this is the thing. Colby Covington didn't lose, and he still said it, but he's just a McAsshole, right? But Carla Esparza lost a close decision, a really close decision. A lot of people actually thought she won and felt like it was a robbery. I think I had the fight for – I scored the fight for Carla Esparza as well. So I guess in that sense I feel like it was a robbery as well. But you've seen worse. So, I mean, it is what it is in that sense. But if you come out after the fact and you start saying, oh, I think they were greasing, then it just looks like excuses. And Claudia Gaethje responded. She said, I think Carla is trying to find excuses for what happened. I badly injured my knee. Everyone at the UFC Performance Institute knows that because I was treated by the Institute's physiotherapist. The physiotherapist was the only reason I didn't pull out of the fight. She said, I'll take care of you. I kept visiting the physiotherapist during the fight week to be able to fight. I felt the knee in the first round. I could barely stand, and I still beat Carla in her game, wrestling. So I think she's just mad she couldn't out-wrestle me. She was supposed to be a high-level wrestler, and that's how she lost to me. Damn, rubbing salt in the wound. She said there's an athletic commission with officials following you the moment you entered the arena up until the point you entered the octagon, including inside the octagon, checking if there's something on your body. Come on, we're in 2018. This greasing story from the Vale Tudo days, don't know how many years ago. At this level today, I don't think it happens anymore. And by the way, my strategy was to grapple her. I'm a grappler. Why would I put something on my body to not be able to grapple? I was talking to my coach now. We have a list of things written on a paper, notes of things we plan doing in the fight, and grappling was the biggest part of my strategy. Why would I put something on my body? That makes no sense. So Claudia Gaethje coming out and denying it, throwing a little bit of shade. These girls really don't like each other, so that was a little bit of shade. I felt like, you know what she was saying? You know, she's just mad that I beat her at her game. I came in and out-wrestled her. Who won the first fight? I know that was a rematch. We might be looking at a mother trucking trilogy on our hands. Who won the first fight? I need to know this. Carla Esparza. Her record. It was before the UFC, so we have to go to a different website. Claudia Gaethje, did she beat Claudia? Oh, they were supposed to fight and they never did. I thought they already fought once. Was it amateurs? Yeah, I thought this was a rematch. Oh, I know they were supposed to fight in the past, but I thought they actually did one. So that was the first fight. Well, shit, even if it's the first fight, we need a rematch then. That was a super close split decision. These girls really don't like each other. What are you talking? We need the rematch. That was fight of the night of the prelims, as far as I'm concerned. There was only one other fight that was on the early fight past prelims that contended, and who was that? Pettis versus Benavidez. But it was out of Pettis versus Benavidez and Esparza versus Gaethje for fight of the night. So, and it was a close, controversial split decision. I can't think of a better case for a rematch. Fuck the dumb shit. This time, I tell you what, if you think there's greasing, you better speak up during the fight. Because right now, to be honest, don't nobody want to hear that shit. That sounds like an excuse, right? Because what can you do about it? Petition the win? Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you can go back in the fight and think she might have been slippery in the first round, but it's after the fact. If you're going to call something out, like, it can't be after the fact. It's never going to work. Like, you have to do it during the fight. Referee can check her, possibly take a point and do whatever he needs to do. But after the fact, your opponent, like Cloud just did, you're going to be able to come out and say, man, enough with the excuses. You know what I'm saying? And I even had the fight for Carla Esparza, but that was before anything about any fucking grease came up. Didn't nobody hear about what I love Kobe Covington's mixture. He said coconut butter and baby oil. This motherfucker's crazy. Coconut butter and baby oil. We didn't hear nothing about no coconut butter and baby oil before or during the fight. You know, even to your corner, especially if it was in the first round and you felt slippery. Like, motherfucker, we ain't even sweaty yet, and I just slipped off of her, coach. Somebody needs to go check her shit for the coconut butter and baby oil. Come on, coach. But it didn't happen. So now I would like to see a rematch. I'll tell you that. I would like to see a fucking rematch. So Yoel Romero's manager or agent, is he his, I thought Malky Cow was his manager. Is agent and manager the same thing? I don't know. Either way, agent Malky Cow says Yoel Romero plans a lawsuit against the Illinois State Athletic Commission after they stopped him from cutting weight. And he revealed this on the MMA Hour show. And if you don't know what happened, I'm sure a lot of you guys do if you're messing with this channel, but he missed weight by 0.2 pounds. But he said he could have made weight given 5 more minutes. The commission came and stopped him from cutting weight, which now he loses a percentage of his purse, and he can't even fight for the belt. Like, he can fight in the fight, but if he wins, he doesn't even win the belt. So it put Yoel Romero in a situation, and on top of that, he lost a percentage of his purse. So I'm going to assume that that's what they would be suing them for, because I don't know what else damages you would have lost, you know, other than the 30% that you might have lost for missing weight, you know, because if you would have won the fight, it would have probably been another 30% or something like that. But, another $50,000 Yoel Romero didn't get for missing weight. That's some more money he can get from this lawsuit, because fight of the night went to the main event, but Robert Whittaker got $100,000 for it. And I believe the stipulation is if you miss weight, you also can't get any bonuses for that fight card. So Yoel Romero lost 30% of his purse, essentially, and $50,000 fight bonus because he missed weight, but he felt like he could have made weight. But this is something I got to say, man. They were playing games with the system. They admitted this in this interview. Like they said, you know, the UFC early weigh-ins, you're supposed to weigh in by 9 a.m. But if you're in a title fight and you miss weight by 3 pounds or less, you have an extra 2 hours. So they said, we decided to be smart about our weight cut. Why cut all this weight by 9 a.m. when we actually have until 11 a.m.? So they said it was their plan to kind of miss weight the first time and then cut weight in that extra 2 hours. So they were kind of gaming the system a little bit, and then the commission came for whatever reason and stopped them at 0.2 pounds under. So now your game plan didn't work. You're trying to game the system, and the commission came and stopped the weight cut, so it didn't work. Now you actually missed weight, unfortunately, and all of this shit is happening. So now they're potentially looking at legal action against the commission. He said the whole plan was to use those 2 hours. So everything we did from that point going forward in the weight cut was to use those extra 2 hours slotted to us. So, that was their whole plan during the weight cut. He said, I'm very professional. This was Yoel Romero also. He said it was a decision for the judge, but this was him talking about his actual performance. He felt like he won the fight. And but yeah, man, if you listen to the MMA Hour with his managers, that's where they were talking about the whole weight cutting thing. And yeah, so maybe he can sue. I mean, because technically, and this happened before. Who did the weight? Max Holloway. I don't know what goes on with these commissions. Sometimes they got a guy just checking motherfuckers' lips. If lips are too chapped or dry, because that's what Jessica Aguilar said. She got put out her fights with like chapped lips. But as far as weight cutting is concerned, we saw Max Holloway. His team felt like he could have made weight versus Khabib, and we could have been looking at an essential champion versus champion fight, or a champion fighting for a second belt, Max Holloway fighting Khabib for a lightweight belt, but the commission stopped him from cutting weight. And then you had Yoel Romero. This is a little bit different situation, and I kind of feel a little differently here when you admit you were trying to game the system. But hey, man, if you're playing within the rules, I guess that's not breaking the rules. If you've got those extra 2 hours. Now, if somewhere in the rules it says, yeah, but the commission can deem you unhealthy and stop your weight cut, you probably shouldn't do that. But I don't think that's the case, so they probably wouldn't be planning legal action against the commission. So we'll see what happens on that, man. Interesting situation, but Yoel Romero did end up losing the fight, close split decision. Some people felt like the fight was a robbery, though. Weezing said Yoel should have just made weight. The whole thing doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, he wins a lawsuit. He's not going to win the belt because he didn't win the fight. They're not appealing the loss. I think it's just a lawsuit. Maybe he can win some money, get some money back that he feels like he lost. We got Rafael Dos Anjos reacting to losing to Colby Covington. He said bad guys win sometimes in real life. This is Rafael Dos Anjos' full statement. Reacting to his loss with Colby Covington. He had Brazil's, he had the weight of Brazil on his shoulders. Hell, even not just Brazil. If you listen to his interviews leading up to the fight, he was saying like, man, there's more Americans and other people around the world that hit me up like, we can't wait for you to shut this guy Colby Covington up. But I mean, even so he essentially had the weight of the world on his shoulders. Everybody wanted to see RDA shut Colby Covington up. And this is his statement on not being able to get the job done. He said, I want to thank you all for the messages and the support. I am a very competitive guy, and I confess I never know how to handle defeat. I did my best inside the octagon. I had the support of the best coaches in the world. The result was not mine, but nothing will make me give up. I am a challenge-driven guy, and this is just another one in my way. In 2014, after the fight against Khabib, I worked very hard, and with God's blessing, 11 months later, I became the lightweight champion. This time, it won't be any different. I got the chance to fight for the interim belt after only 3 fights in the welterweight division. My path in this weight class has just started, so he's going to stay at welterweight. He said, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can achieve. I won't give up on my dreams because of the first obstacle in this division. Now it's time to see what did not work, improve, and get back to my path to the top. God knows everything. Bad guys win sometimes in real life, but at the end, the good guys always win. You can lose the battle, but never the war. Thank God I have the best friends and family I could ask for. Poet, and he didn't even know it. I'll be back stronger than ever. You will see. So RDA looks like he's going to be staying at 170, which is that's he's looked good at 170. It'd be interesting to see who he fights next, though. I mean, there's some fun fights I want to see with RDA. We could see RDA versus Jorge Masvidal. That's actually a fight that was discussed on Twitter like yesterday. I saw that shit. I think it was Jorge Masvidal's manager, and he said, who would like to see Masvidal versus RDA? And Masvidal responded to it like, don't even ask questions like that. Just make it happen. Like, Masvidal is down. that is the fight. So hell yeah, RDA staying at 170. He's definitely got some fights up here. I'd like to see RDA versus Masvidal next. Masvidal versus a former lightweight champion. That's going to be a hell of a fight. RDA, one of the best former lightweights in the world. Now he's looking great at welterweight. 3-1 now with that loss to Colby Covington. Ooh, and Masvidal is Colby Covington's teammate. RDA, I might not have been able to beat Covington, but I'm about to whoop your ass for co-signing him. Oh shit, we got us a fight, boys and girls. Oh shit, what did we just stumble upon? Masvidal versus RDA. Dana, make it happen. Paige Van Zandt. Fortunate or unfortunate for Paige Van Zandt, she is set to have a second surgery on her broken arm after the first procedure failed. I don't know what doctor she's going to, but I thought that she would be going to the best doctors in the world in the UFC and the Performance Institute and all of that. It looks like they failed on her first arm. But in the meantime, Paige Van Zandt did get some implants. I know that was a big story last week. She's been, showing them things off. I'll be fucking with those clickbait websites and shit. You got to sort through them. But there's been a lot of the emphasis on that in this last week or so, and she's actually started, I believe, going to be doing commentary work. I've seen her over there doing like some UFC with the Truth stuff. So Paige Van Zandt's been out here grinding for sure. But it looks like her UFC actual fighting fight grind is going to be set back a little bit. She said, I unfortunately and sadly have to inform all of my fans who have been standing by my side that my arm surgery has failed. For whatever reason, my bone still is totally broken in my arm and shows no sign of healing or progression. What the fuck? Oh my Lord. No signs at all. You guys remember how bad her arm broke in that Jessica Rose Clark fight? That shit was like snap. And this whole time it showed no sign of healing or progression. Holy smokes, that's crazy. All that we can guess is that I went back to training too quickly and didn't give my arm the proper time to heal without any motion. This is the downfall of athletes pushing through pain when they should not have. I will be going in for another more serious surgery next month where they will take bone fragments from my hip to fill the break and put another bigger plate in. I will take the time off to heal this go around, and I will be back to the UFC, and I will fight many more fights in the future. Send some prayers up for me for recovery. Thank you. Prayers up for Van Zandt, full-time family. She is, man, she's going to be the bicentennial woman when she comes back. Got to get another bigger plate put in her arm. But damn, you got to one, I don't know. But yeah, that's Paige Van Zandt's injury update, man. But in the meantime, in between time, she can probably still be going around and, doing her thug dizzle. She's a really good, marketability, and she can also work on her commentary. But I mean, just marketing for the UFC. She's one of the more bigger stars as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how she does during live fight commentary, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe she's just going to be on like the desk. But I'm pretty sure what I saw was she might be trying some live fight commentary sometime in the future, which would be cool to see her voice on the, on the desk. Is there any, I think, has Miesha Tate done that yet? I'm not sure. But UFC is coming to LA, Los Angeles, UFC 227, and we've got 6 fights confirmed for the card. This is the updated fight card. We got the 2 title fights at the top. TJ Dillashaw versus Cody Garbrandt. We got Demetrius Johnson versus Henry Cejudo. Cub Swanson versus Renato Moicano. JJ Aldrich versus Polyana Viana. I don't know. I'm not as hyped about that fight. I don't really know. I know of those fighters, but I don't really know that much. Kyung Ho Kang versus Ricardo Ramos. That's another banger. Weiju Burin versus Bahat Kandre. Irene Aldana versus Betch Kahea. They're now getting back to it. Derek Brunson versus Shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr. But Nito Lopez versus Ricky Simon. Ricky Simon is the motherfucking chill son of the flyweight division. Cut a promo on your ass if he gets the W. And he's going to be taking on Benito Lopez, one of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. Also one of the brightest. He sticks out like Sean O'Malley, maybe not as much, but he's definitely one of the guys that sticks out from the first season. He's young in the game. I believe he trains with Team Alpha Male, if I'm not mistaken. So that's, he should have the home crowd advantage in that sense. And he's also, if you don't remember his hairstyle, he's got like half blonde, half black hair, fade, so he's very unique. So he stands out. Danielle Taylor versus Willie Zhang. I'm sure the card's going to fill out more, but there's some good fights here. It's not the most stacked card of the year. UFC 225 was that, and now we got UFC 226 coming up. And I don't know if UFC 226 on paper is as stacked, but if you're talking about style fights, UFC 226 is going to be insane. Probably going to see 5 or more knockouts. I'm talking about, like, you look at the fights, which, I mean, why not? Why would we not? I mean, who would not want to look at the UFC 226 fight card? But if you just look at the UFC 226 fight card, it's absolutely insane, stacked with slugfest. I'm talking about all the way down here. Dan Hooker versus Gilbert Burns. Melinda versus Max Griffin. Both of these guys are probably going to be striking. In explosive striker Curtis Melinda, he won his first UFC fight. Who did he beat? I forget, but he took it on short notice, and I think he won by KO TKO. Second round KO TKO over Thiago Alves. So he's going to be taking on Max Griffin, who just got that win over Mike Perry. And then we got Rafael Sunsao versus Rob Font. Rob Font finishes dudes. Rafael Sunsao, one of the best bantamweights in the division. Mike Perry versus Yancy Medeiros. That's a slugfest. That fight has knockout written all over it. Uriah Hall versus Paulo Costa. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Paulo Costa's, I know he knocks dudes out, but I don't see him just trying to dominate this fight with his wrestling. Yeah, he's got a striking summary. So, yeah, he's going to be coming here to knock Uriah Hall out. He's got first round knockout, second round. So Paulo Costa's not fucking around, looking to continue moving in the UFC middleweight division. That's another insane fight at UFC 226 between Hall and Costa. We got Saki versus Roundtree Jr. Gokhan Saki, kickboxing legend, taking on Khalil Roundtree Jr. That could very well end in a KO. Michael Chiesa versus Anthony Pettis. Not necessarily the slugfest of all of these other fights, but still in a fight that was supposed to happen in UFC 223, now rebooked. Pettis versus Chiesa. We got Ngannou versus Lewis. That's the people's main event for sure. Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis. I mean, I don't even need to talk about that fight. Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega. Really, I mean, that's going to be absolutely insane. Max Holloway, best featherweight division. I mean, best featherweight in the division. He just beat Jose Aldo twice, the best featherweight champion in a while. I mean, Jose Aldo was the featherweight king for a long time. Conor McGregor came through, stopped, got the belt, and bounced out. But just other than Jose Aldo, Max Holloway's making a case, his own case for being the next greatest featherweight of all time. It's going to be hard to, Jose Aldo's reign was very long. But if you're looking at strength of schedule and just fighting style and what Max Holloway did to earn the belt, what he's did since winning the belt, Max Holloway is easily one of the greatest featherweights of all time. Then he's taking on Brian Ortega, who is one of the craziest featherweight finishers. He might be down in the fight. It doesn't even fucking matter because no one's going to beat him. Because even if he's ever been down in a fight, it literally doesn't fucking matter. He's going to finish you. You can be beating him up. That's been the case in multiple fights. But guess what? It really doesn't fucking matter. Brian Ortega is undefeated because he gets the finish when he needs it. I mean, he was down in this fight versus Thiago Tavares, 6 takedowns to 0. But he was up on striking just a little. But he still got the finish in the 3rd round. Who cares what the judge? When they say don't leave it to the judges' scorecards, that should literally be Brian Ortega's nickname. I mean, it's T-City, but Brian, don't leave it to the judges' scorecards. Ortega, he lives that shit. They say there's close decisions. You don't want to. No, he doesn't even. The judges can take a fucking break when Brian Ortega is fighting. That's time for the judges to take a bathroom break because the fight's not going to a decision. He's never been to a decision in the UFC, finishing everybody, no matter how the fight's going. This fight's going to be absolutely crazy. And then his performance versus Frankie Edgar was the cherry on top. First person to ever knock out Frankie Edgar. Did it in the 1st round. Did it on short notice. I mean, the fucking kid's a stud taking on the champion Max Holloway. And that's just the co-main event because we got the champ versus champ super fight. Miocic versus Cormier. Are you kidding me? Holy smokes. What a fight. Am I tripping or does Cormier look a little bit bigger here? Maybe his feet are up higher or some shit, but he looks a little bigger here than Stipe. You know what I'm saying? Am I tripping? He looks a little bit bigger. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. This is going to be a good fight. But, I mean, I know this is just on paper. But still, Cormier is undefeated at heavyweight. Only lost to one person in his career, John Jones. Who knows how that was? The 22 game said Cormier is 40 shot. Forward thinking says Cormier looks massive in that pic. I'm telling you, don't he? Motherfucking, he's zoomed in and tall. He looks taller than, I mean, but clearly, you know, maybe just where his feet are. But yeah, no, that's funny. I'm down with T-City, but I'd rather see titties than Stamina MC. Chill. All right, let's get back to the news, man. We got, we talked about Paige Van Zant's second surgery, UFC 227 card shaping out. This is just some nonsense. I saw some WWE champ coming out and defending CM Punk. You got another WWE guy coming out. He thinks he could beat Mike Jackson. I don't care. Oh God, I don't even know. What are we gonna see that in Bellator? Mike Jackson's got to worry about his fucking getting his job back in the UFC, right? He's got to. Hey Dana, chill, bro. Like, if you listen to Mike Jackson's explanation, he sounded cool, but he also took some shots at Dana in the beginning. But at the same time, man, I don't know, man. If it was in Bellator, if Mike Jackson popped up in Bellator, I would definitely be watching. It's already Bellator, so I already watched Bellator anyway. MMA Vlogger Real Talk Forum said, I have a question. Do we still have a UFC female flyweight champion? Why hasn't she been stripped? Yeah, she just got her like tonsils taken out. Remember, she had tonsillectomy. She got her adenoids taken out. She had a tonsillectomy. Dana White talked about that on Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender series, or not the Contender, on UFC Unfiltered. Dana White spoke about that, I believe, last week. He said, Ariel Helwani didn't know what he, because if you remember, Ariel Helwani came out and said that the UFC was getting frustrated with Nico Montano, trying to get her to fight Valentina Shevchenko, something along those lines. And that's when Nico Montano came out, blasted Ariel Helwani, fucking all that. That shit was crazy. All the shit she said, man. But she blasted Ariel Helwani for saying the UFC was getting frustrated with her. Well, Dana White then joined the UFC Unfiltered podcast and said, yeah, man, we know about her medical condition. Like, Ariel doesn't know what he's talking about. So, I mean, Ariel still could have been right. Who knows? You know, with Dana, he might have just been trying to get one in on Ariel. You know, they don't really have the best relationship. But that, yeah, the UFC is aware of her situation. She came out, what was it, a week or two ago, and just said she had the tonsillectomy to get her adenoids removed. So I don't know what her timetable is on the return for that. But yeah, man, it's got to be sometime soon, or she's going to mess around and get GDR'd out here. It's got to be sometime soon. I don't know, maybe UFC, I don't know, 227's already got 2 title fights. 226 already got 2 titles. It's probably not going to be on a pay-per-view. I know they ain't. Hopefully, I wouldn't think it'd be a UFC 228 or nothing crazy that far down the line. Shoot, Valentina Shevchenko's ready to fight. And honestly, to be honest, in the meantime, in between time, she's getting her tonsils taken out. We know who the next fight is. It's Valentina. And if she's going to be out for another 2 months or something, Valentina might as well fight one of these girls in the flyweight division. It ain't like they got too much of a, you know what I'm saying? Valentina beat Priscilla Cachoeira. She ranked. I don't think she was ranked in the division, but you got all of these girls on the Ultimate Fighter show. Ciara Eubank, she's already starting to be in line for a title fight next. Even though her record doesn't look amazing, she won the show, and she just beat Lauren Murphy. So after Valentina Shevchenko fights Nico Montano, then that's probably going to be the #1 contender. So if Nico's going to be out for another 2 or 3 months, I don't think if I'm Valentina, I'm just fighting one of these top-ranked girls, getting the payday, and then I'm fighting for the title next. Unless you just want to wait and wait and wait, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if that's you. I don't know. I mean, what do you think? Do you think Valentina should just wait and wait and wait with the win over Priscilla Cachoeira? Or if Nico Montano's tonsils are affecting her that bad, do you think that, or tonsillectomy, I don't know how long it's going to take to recover from that. It shouldn't be too long. And then, I mean, but who knows? We'd have to see the time frame. But yeah, maybe Valentina can fight like a Sarge Eubanks in her #1 contender fight. What do you guys think about Valentina versus Sarge in the meantime? Or do you think Valentina should just wait on the title shot? Sarge should just wait on the next one? Or do you think Sarge should fight one of these girls down here? It's a whole weird situation going on in the flyweight division. But yeah, Nico Montano, it wasn't too long ago, she just came out and spoke about her tonsillectomy and tonsil remover, tonsillectomy, getting her adenoids removed. She had a condition. I Am Him said Nico is a scary cat. I mean, I wouldn't call her a scary cat. I mean, she's definitely hasn't fought Valentina Shevchenko yet, but she has had valid excuses. She had an injury. She had the tonsillectomy. But, yeah, her time is definitely ticking. The clock is ticking on Nico Montano. We'll see if, we get an update on Nico Montano soon. We're definitely due for one. We need one from the UFC, though, because Ariel came out and gave us one, said the UFC was getting frustrated, which I believed a little bit. But, because we've been looking at this Valentina Shevchenko fight versus Nico Montano for a while, and we just got the tonsillectomy. So, but after that, man, we might need to Google the fucking time frame on getting a tonsillectomy. How long does it take to heal up from that? Because that's all we're waiting on as of right now, to my knowledge. And if there's something else after that, if another injury comes up after the tonsillectomy, I think Valentina's just going to get the belt. I think Nico will probably just get stripped at that point. But in the meantime, between time, I'm not against the Sarge versus Valentina fight to see, fight for the #1 contender fight. Valentina Shevchenko is the #1 contender, pretty much because of her name. She hasn't really beat any of these girls in the top 15 of the division, and she doesn't need to because she's Valentina Shevchenko. I believe Valentina Shevchenko is the best fighter in the division. I believe Valentina should be already the fucking champion. But, it doesn't work like that. You have to beat the champion unless she gets stripped. But I'm just saying, to get to this #1 ranking, she did beat Priscilla Cachoeira. I don't even know if she's still in the UFC, and if she is, they didn't even give her a top 15 ranking in the division. So if Nico's going to be out for 3 months, hey, why not? Valentina versus Sarge, something in the flyweight division. Stamina MC said she's back in training now, getting back to fight fitness. People have way too much to say about Nico. The hand wringing is tiresome. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's going to be getting back to training. She came out, revealed her tonsillectomy. So, not much else she can do but get back in fight shape like Stamina says she's doing. And she's also healing. So, yeah, man. But with that being said, it's about time. If anybody wants to join the live chat, we can do that for a little bit. Let me get the link for you guys because we've discussed pretty much all the news today. So, yeah, man, that's full-time MMA in the morning for those of you that are going to leave for the live chat, even though I don't think you should, I'm sure Forward Thinking's going to hop in here, drop some bombs, hopefully. Arpit, I know he wants to hop in here. Arpit's got some fucking bombs to drop. Arpit wants to talk about Megan Anderson. Where's my headphones? And then hopefully maybe my boy Dan from Oregon will hop back in here. He came in with the motherfucking hot talk yesterday. Dan from Oregon. Shout out to Dan. Let's see what we got. All right, here's the link. Got my headphones. Got the link to the mother trucking Google Hangout. And by the way, man, right after we get off of here, we can do this for like 30 minutes or just however long, maybe longer. Maybe it'll go over if we have interesting shit to talk about. But what I'm saying is I'm going to go to like Walmart. I need to try and find I hope it's not expensive, man. I only got like $15, but a super long fucking Ethernet cord. We might be able to get the bells and whistles quicker than possible. If I can get like a fucking 20-foot Ethernet cord and just run a cord from my router or whatever to my computer, but I have to go all the way through my house, that'd be super dope. So there's a link for you guys that need it. If you want to join the chat, hop in. If you got something to talk about, something we talked about today, something that's on your mind, whatever's going on in the MMA world, in the UFC, just let the full-time family know what's going on. And if not, then that would be it for the day. But let's see. I'll put the link in there one more time for anybody that wants to hop in. Boom, there you go. Go to this Google Hangout. I guess we can stop screen sharing for now. I guess unless you guys just want to look at this UFC 226 fight card. We can look at the next Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series card. This was last night's. Santiago versus Holland. These are the 2 fights I missed, but these 3 fights were all sick, so I figured one of those were getting the contract. Let's see, schedule, upcoming events. Oh, I might have to. Let's see, is anybody in the Google Hangout yet? Not yet. I'll put the link in there one time. We might be out of here a little early today, full-time family. We're out of topics. If nobody's got anything crazy to jump on, then we'll just be back tomorrow, man. So I kind of want to shoot the Walmart or the thrift store and see if I can find a super cheap-ass fucking Ethernet cord. And because I've been working on the layout for the live streams and shit like that. So Hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll be able to have all the motherfucking bells and whistles popping. I see my boy Coach, he's been using the OBS now, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I used to use before my internet started fucking up. But if I can direct connect, that problem might be solved and we can go back to the old format. But man, it definitely looks a lot better whenever you can use that and you don't just have to show one damn screen the whole time. All right, man. Slow Cheetah said, anyone toke up watching these? Fuck yeah, man. I hope so. I hope there's at least 5 out of 20 at a time. I don't know how many people even, I don't even be having a looking at how many people are in here. But however many people are in here, I hope everybody, not everybody, I mean, sober 2018, but I hope there's at least a few people that are firing one up for you, boy, at Full Time MMA, and for everybody else in the chat. I know I would be if it was me a year ago. But with that being said, I don't think anybody's joining. I don't think Arpit's got any bombs. No, bro. Oh, he make me work 14 hours. I got 6 hours of sleep. I hate my job. Damn. Arpit. Well, Arpit, maybe tomorrow. Y'all know what it is. It's Full Time MMA in the morning. We're gonna be back tomorrow. So thank y'all for coming through tomorrow. It'll probably be the time I want to start these is 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. my time. Today we started an hour late because I didn't realize my alarm clock wasn't on point. So I'm asleep looking at my alarm clock. I was up for like an hour and a half looking at the alarm clock like, whoa, I got an extra hour to sleep still. Okay. Fuck yeah, man. I went to sleep late last night. So maybe we need to just change the late weigh-ins because you know us YouTubers, we're not morning people. No, I'm just kidding, man. But with that being said, y'all, thanks for coming through and checking this out and listening to Full Time MMA in the morning today. Today is June 13th, I believe. It's the 6th year of the month. I don't keep track of that shit anymore, man. No, I think it's June, though, right? Are we in July? No, July's next month. It's June 13th, motherfucker. I think my mom's birthday's tomorrow. Holy shit. Let the Full Time family know what you guys think in the comments, man. It's been fun. We'll be back tomorrow morning and later today. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We're out.